Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Rangru, low, low, low.
And folks, today giving you some coverage over here on Harashija. And Rang, who do we have and what are they bringing to the fray?
On the left-hand side in the blue, we have a GhostDragon, playing first Lovas with Maverick Income. Right-hand side in red, we have a BadgerJelly, playing Task Force 45, also with a Maverick Income.
Well, it's fun to see that the Brazilians are coming out today, as well as those Nisei rifles. But Lovas, Hungarian infantry, I kind of feel like I should be running away from this. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, I mean, Task Force does also get some very good infantry as well. I think it's going to be more interesting to see just how the Turans work, especially if, you know, with all just recent tweaks and stuff. The Turan runs and Turan 2s especially are very deadly tanks. And especially in a map like this, where there's a lot of CQC fighting, they can prove to be quite a force multiplier for a budget.
Talk about that a little bit more, because I'm sure everyone out there has not really gone through the patch notes. What has made the Turan 2s and Turan 1s?
It's just fast fire rate and good at CQC. We have those like caliber guns, and they're just cheap. They're just good all-rounders.
No, that's fair, and I just kind of wanted to make sure that everybody else out there kind of was able to peek into the mind of Rangru. I will have to say I'm a little surprised by your comment that Task Force 45 gets a lot of good infantry. Yeah, okay, I'll give you the engineers, but at the same time, the converted gunners, Garand's, yeah, but that disheartened thing. That always drops it by about 2 notches in my book. What is it about converted gunners that are going to be that great? Semi-auto rifles? Yeah, sure.
Semi-auto rifles, disheartened, and big scrods. Even though they're not, you know, they don't have the crazy traits and all of that, they can just sit here and take a lot of punishment.
Well, and they're going to do that. You can see them in the town fight right about now. They come around the corner and immediately starting to get blitzed by the Solitherm. Though, I will say, and maybe that's kind of the goal here, is to always kind of have meat shields as the M10s start coming on in.
Yeah, and down south is really where the major action is happening here. It's GhostDragon's actually deciding not to push too heavy in the town and try to make something happen on the flanks. And this is actually going very well. It's definitely caught BadgerJelly by surprise, as he's slowly bringing in all of those reinforcements. And this would be, yeah, a great position for him. He's got his infantry in the forest, he's got anti-tank rifles, he's got the Durans. He just needs to get into the town and really follow up through, and then he can just lock down this area.
He absolutely can, and I think that's kind of one of those things, though, too, that with Lovas, you kind of have to win within the first 20 minutes, even against Task 45. Well, then again, as I say that, I'm taking a second look at this deck. I'm not seeing a single C-phase card over here for BadgerJelly.
He's going to hope to win by at B phase. There's initial push here from GhostDragon. Will probably make things a bit difficult, because this is going quite round. GhostDragon really has not taken many casualties yet.
I mean, you do say that. The M8 Scott is sitting in a little bit of defilade, but the infantry, like you said, that is getting crushed. That is absolutely true there.
And then just looking into the center here, go start north real fast. We do have... Oh, we actually do have a little bit of action up north. We've got those cavalry scouts trying to push on through during some reconnaissance play. It seems the Hungarian infantry did just enough to stop him from doing anything a bit too crazy.
Well, I was watching it to 75 mil in the middle, took out, I think it was another M8. Yeah, pretty sure that was the case. And it was a Ma Deuce that took him under fire quite considerably. I'm actually interested right now to see, nope, that 75 mil is going to get taken out. Well, eventually, he's getting pressured right about now.
And then those M10s providing fantastic fire support in the mid. 50 cal machine gun as well, also doing a good job. There seems that GhostDragon's trying to relieve probably a little bit of pressure from the southern attack by trying to make his northern attack work, but at the same time, there's still a lot of Hungarian bodies he needs to break through, and that takes time.
It certainly does, and then let's not forget things like the Petzel Toro Raketa, or the Panzerschreck, well, basically, you know, Hungarian P-Shreks, kind of lurking in those buildings. You can see it right now. Yeah, guys are getting nice and close. But those Husarovs do have the anti-tank grenades, and frankly, I'd be hopping out and hopping right back in and taking one of those under fire.
Just slow support, yeah, for the M10s. We've seen heavy reinforcements down south. Like, good God, that's pretty much a platoon's worth of Hungarians, and I know, I think this might be a little bit of an over-investment. He's already got a good force here. He needs a little bit more anti-tank. Because there's really only one extra flag you can take up. Or it's almost gotten the flag where the M4 is. And after that, you just kind of get stuck in.
That's fair, but at the same time, I'm thinking he's actually moved northeast and try to use those troops to kind of block off that arterial from southeast to northwest into the middle of the town. Yeah, does it mean a whole lot when you can kind of continue to reinforce from the center? Maybe not that much. But you can pick up a flag or two, and you can kind of cut off one thing and maybe move them on the southern side of the town. I know I'm stretching, but I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, the problem is that the central position is slowly getting blown up here. BadgerJelly just has all this fantastic fire support. I mean, the infantry is slowing him down, but I think for GhostDragon, he'd want maybe some anti-tank reinforcements in the mid to keep, because you can't afford to completely lose the mid. You can lose a little bit of territory, but if you get kicked out in the middle town, especially against Task Force 45, with much better long-range AT, a bit better. You do have some hedges and whatnot with low VAS.
I was about to remind you. But the fire support in the center is now really down to that one Sherman and that one Ma Deuce. The M10 actually has 0.127, 0 HE, and frankly, I know the APCR is not really necessary here, but he's out of that too. So right now he has 41 slugs of ammo just to like fire downrange. But as a support platform, it's really not that good. Not at this point, anyway.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised the Cav, like, the infantry really up north between the Cav Scouts and the Hungarian troops haven't re-engaged again. They're just kind of all chilling. Like, hey, you know, all the fighting's happening down south in the center. Let's not really worry too much about that.
And that's true. I will say, your comment about it being an overinvestment down south, that might be true, but it's still 14-10.
It's going to slow plus run.
Yes, it is. That JU-87 cluster is not going to get in there. That is one thing I will say about Task Force 45. That CGMC is brutal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got some very good anti-air, including the rather rare 90mm American gun, which is take on, well, not historically taken the Flak 88, but, you know, every single division needs a heavy anti-aircraft gun, really just to be used as an anti-tank gun.
Also, I just sang praise of the CGMC. Oh, well, I may have been saying Hosannas, but that guy is not 6 feet under, because the terrain takes him out from, like, what's that, about a click? Yeah, it's over 1,000 meters. Oi. Oi. So this is a big, big gap in the center in terms of anti-air. So, AAA's gone. Got an opportunity here.
Yeah, he's grinding it through now. I mean, the Sherman's definitely going to provide great fire support, and they do actually fare up pretty well against the Turan 2s. I mean, the Turan 2 is still very cost-effective and all of that. But remember, the Sherman does have stabilizers and a lot of machine guns. It's kind of perfect.
You know, folks, you can't see my face right about now. I do the best thing I can to do my deep throat impression here. Hold the jokes. But, you know, stabilizers, that will never fail to bring a smile to my face.
Yeah. It always works.
It does always work. Now, the last Turan 2 in the center right now does go down. There's a Turan 1 and a couple 2s still coming right back in. But maybe this is that moment you were talking about. Maybe this is the time when BadgerJelly ruptures the center.
Yeah, he's getting all these Hungarian infantry to be pinned down. The problem is he doesn't really have much infantry to really follow up through. I mean, converted gunners are pretty good at holding position, but they're not the greatest at, well, they're okay CQC for the Emron Garage, but he just needs a little bit of extra oomph with his central push if you want to clear this out, and I think he's probably ready to a B phase for that to happen. Or you just bring in a B-25, yeah. That works too.
Kind of amusing. We actually just had that 40 might come in right before the B-25 came out. Kind of unfortunate. The didn't really do the best of runs there.
I don't know where he's trying to hit. Yeah.
I think he was trying to hit this. Yeah, maybe the southwest part of that town. Just kind of maybe. Oh, there's probably troops over here in that position, but maybe there was just enough. Let's say hassle for things to go very, very wrong. No, Ryan, don't look. Oh,
right,
we're welcome.
In the center, man, catch those converted gunners out. Yeah, he does pay the price ultimately, but at least slowing down his reinforcements.
I thought you were going to reference the fact that, oh, there are now a couple toadies down below, which, well, that's certainly an option.
Mm-hmm.
But we're seeing right about now the Husarok over here chasing out the converted gunners, the last American, excuse me, Allied infantry in this forest complex, and really that T-70 can't do much about it. I kind of get the feeling he's going to go down pretty quickly here.
Yeah, this isn't ideal T-70 playground. It really does better more on an open engagement. But the southern side for BadgerJelly, he might as well just consider it lost. It's going to cost way too much time and money trying to retake it. So he either has to A, try to break through heavily in center, and he's making some progress, but not enough. Or B, rather open up a far northern flank. But I don't see it happening anytime soon. He is very much committed to this central post and bringing in some howitzers.
Yes, which I think is probably one of the best choices he could have made under the circumstances. I do want to note there was a Ju-87 cluster strike in the center. Unfortunately, that's actually what cost GhostDragon a -2 over here on BadgerJelly for a few seconds, as he didn't kill the Sherman, and he pinned down his own troops and lost the flag there. So, kind of a comedy of errors that still ended up working out for him at the end of days here as we go into B phase.
Yeah, GhostDragon's definitely doing pretty damn good for himself now, knocking out another Sherman as well. So all he has to do, I mean, both sides of Maverick is going to get pretty crazy now coming into B phase with the income. But if he can just maintain minor flag advantage in the center, just keep at +2, you're going to be good to go. You don't need to go anything really more crazy in that, especially considering you got the entire south.
Well, and also, I'm not sure he heard you, because we have 2 more converted gunners being swung on into the southern side. There's also 1 lone converted gunner way down south, not even really holding anything, just kind of huddling in the corner and saying, I want to go home. So I admire the gumption in trying to take back, or maybe at least seal in the worst of the damage, but I don't know really what's going to be done here to salvage that situation.
I wonder how much, these howitzers can do to remedy a situation. Because a lot of heavy artillery definitely help out in the central position, as the infantry are fairly dug in. He does have access to some... Oh no, he doesn't actually have any heavy artillery in this deck, because it's the 81 mils and the howitzers. I mean, on the opposite side, GhostDragon can get some pretty nasty guns, as well as off-map artillery. Quite a decent amount of off-map artillery, actually. So I bet you see a bit of off-map here from B-Face and GhostDragon, just used purely defensively to keep the central position well pinned down.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that's exactly the right idea. Is that, we talk about the fact that artillery needs to be used offensively, but this is one of the few times I feel like a defensive barrage or two, well, that might be what the doctor orders.
Yeah, it's actually back down to a trove, I believe. Yeah, BadgerJelly managed to nick a couple, 1 or 2 flags up north here, gain a decent enough position in the central town at least. So that's good, at least he's been able to stabilize the front for a bit, and he is, well, really both sides are just investing for this heavy central brawl.
Well, you know what? He is the guy with the divisions of Shermans in his deck, so that makes perfect sense. Although I will say that the grip on those flags is a little bit tenuous. It's really just those converted gunners and 1 squad of Nisei rifles. Although I will say the Nisei rifles, that infantry there, if you can get them in greater numbers than, the 20 that he's got already, those are guys I would sit up and take notice for.
Yeah, they can definitely hold their own quite bloody row here. But there's a lot of Hungarians coming in, and even though there's been a lot of power creep with the infantry, the baseline Hungarians still perform quite well, just thanks to their beefy infantry squad size.
Yes, indeed. Down south, we have more Tyrants being thrown down south. Interesting decision. Wondering. Nope. Howitzers are still flying for the center. Wondering. Oh no. Okay, it's more and more artillery to the central position. So BadgerJelly says, you know what? I'm gonna dig in like my namesake and just keep grinding and grinding and grinding.
Yeah. Just gonna keep on going and going. But the grind in the center is, well, he's losing a little bit of position right now thanks to this Hungarian death blob being brought in. And the Tyrants aren't gonna go full on out yet. So it's gonna buy, well, BadgerJelly a bit of time to bring in those 81 mils. Yeah, it's quite a lot of... I do like the call-in of a lot of artillery, but he really needs some more dudes in the front now, because it's getting pretty tenuous.
Absolutely agree. Now, unfortunately, there's a Ju-87 coming right back in, and there's a CGMC that's probably welcome him with open arms and firing barrels. Yeah, between that and the M8. Not expecting a whole lot of efficiency on this run. Hey, wow.
Wow. Lucky.
Very lucky. Huh. Intriguing.
Good for him.
Exactly. I feel like it's one of those moments where, you have that comedic moment in a fight in a movie where the comic relief comes in to somehow manages to nuke, like, the heaviest artillery piece on the other side. Definitely one of those moments here, I kind of feel like.
Yes.
But while we've been waiting, the Ju-87 had made its run. And just like that, GhostDragon has snuck those flags back. And it doesn't matter how deep those cavalry scouts go. North continues to be quiet. Yeah, not entirely sure what's going to be done over here in the meantime.
Yeah, I understand not wanting to grind up north. It's kind of a bit difficult going across the saddle, so to speak, even though it's not like a huge gap, especially if it drops some smoke. But having to fight over the large forest up north can be a huge pain, especially from a supply line standpoint, if you want to get anything heavier in infantry. And while you do have decent CQC infantry here for BadgerJelly, the Hungarians kind of have them a bit beat in regards to quality. And you really, especially for Task Force 45, want to be relying more on your like tank fire support and artillery fire support to be winning these infantry engagements. And airplane support, another B-25 bomber.
It is, but at the same time, there's still that 40 mic that's going to be, I think, quite considerable. And yeah, I mean, when you are Mitchell, it doesn't really need to be super accurate. You're kind of aiming for volume. But even again, we're not seeing a lot of very valuable runs here.
Yeah, he's really not getting those really important hits to slow down the push. I mean, GhostDragon here hasn't completely overrun the center yet, but just looking at raw numbers, there's a lot more blue right now and red. And even though those Turan 2 tanks aren't super Gucci compared to the M4s, at close range, it's not that bad of a fight. But
now,
there's more of them.
Exactly. I will say having this concentration fire between the two tube half tracks and the two heavier tubes is good. Don't get me wrong. Though that's a long-term play, and had we seen those over here in A phase, that might have been a little bit different. Well, if nothing else, at least see either mortars or an earlier commitment to artillery. But we're 2 minutes from the edge of B, which means we are 2 minutes from the slim times for everybody, including Task Force 45.
Yeah, and just looking at how the central grind is going, this is pretty clear in GhostDragon's favor now. He is traded extremely efficiently. We got an napalm bomb hit. Been a while since we've seen one of those, but will it actually do anything?
Nope. The only thing on fire right now is, it looks like maybe his engine a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah. Might just need to lean out the cockpit and blow in it.
You know what? That's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. Now, I also kind of like this too. We actually have one of the Turan 2s has eyes on tube half tracks, and one's down already. So...
yeah, they're breaking through right bloody quickly here.
Certainly is. That 90 mil able to engage him? Looks like it. Nope, he's aiming down at the infantry.
Oh. We got the M10s as well. There's one silver lining here for BadgerJelly as he's getting pushed out the town. So now at least it brings engagement into more of a long-range firefight, whereas M10s can perform a bit better at long range compared to the Turans. But he's getting them a bit close once again.
But it's kind of a weird thing to say, but when you can kind of just Zerg rush with the Hungarians, I mean, look at this mass of troops.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I've ever had that many tanks alive in one match at one time, across the entire battlefield. And he's got that all in a single town. We're not even looking at the south, which has another mess of them.
Yeah, this is what makes Lothar such a strong bloody division, especially on a map like this where you can force all the major fights to be at close quarters. You got beefy troops which can escort your cheap but very cost-effective tanks, because at close range with drones, both of them have very high fire rate, and you know, if you can shoot a lot, your opponent is gonna have less chance of being alive. Just math.
Very. Yeah, it's kind of the case, isn't it? And you have a couple of hetzers to kind of hold people back. In the meantime, Mitchell was forced back. He didn't. He actually. No, he did get some of his bombs off. P-47 was forced back. And again, yeah, I mean, we see some terror, we see some, dismay. The town looks like the moon, but, these guys are still walking on sunshine, so.
Oh yes, so yeah. But at least, I don't know, I think for BadgerJelly not having any heavier artillery pieces is a bit, especially no off-map. If he had some off-map of his own, you could use that quite effectively, especially against how blobbed the Hungarians are, to blow up a bunch of stuff and then follow up through with like a Sherman attack or something along those lines. But the ability not to be able to punish just the big blob of dudes is pretty much lost in the match here.
Well, here's the kind of question, and this is more of a observation than anything else. They don't get Calliopes. It's been a hot second since I played TF-45. There's no Calliopes here, are there?
No. I think some more of the regular artillery pieces, but in this case opted more for just 75mm and 81mm, which are good and cost effective. But in a grind fight like this, you want big kaboom.
Well, I guess that was the thing I was trying to figure out, is you can just kind of saturate everything all at the same time. Not the case. You can see right now those howitzers trying desperately to pour as much shell fire as they can, and they're doing well, don't get me wrong. But it's not enough.
Yeah, this is sort of the front line here, and the converted gunners, as well as any other real fire support, are just getting beaten up by the Hungarian troops. And the Hungarian troops is a really good counter to them, just because they both have similar rod sizes. Well, one's not disheartened, even though one does have semi-auto rifles.
That is certainly fair. We were expecting to see off-map called in as a defensive measure. Obviously, not seeing that here now, I don't know that we're going to see it really even overall, but mildly amusing to see the Hungarians pull this out by nothing more than just kind of straight gumption and just flooding the map.
Yeah, he just treated extremely bloody efficiently here. And I think we could take us like a ×2 at 2305.
Or... And folks, that you kind of have it, isn't it? Is that when you look at how so much of these get played, what we're seeing is the kind of the troops themselves, we economic kind of, force over here. Big thing with TF-45 might have been, don't try to jam your tanks up into a town. Play to your strength. So TF-45, hit those long range of moves. Aim around the town. Kind of envelop it as opposed to trying to be aggressive through it.
Yep, and we're finally seeing some play up north, and just through sheer surprise, he has managed to capture one flag, but it's far too late now to really make anything there happen. And also just that southern push from GhostDragon really caught BadgerJelly on by surprise, and kind of a game-winning move as well, because he easily shut down the south. Like, it has not been contested much since its capture.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at the end of everything over here, I definitely understand the tap out from BadgerJelly. A little more than 1,000. I think, that the tail of the tape over here initially is, yes, a lot of that stuff did very much go BadgerJelly's way. But then to go further and further along, from 6 minutes almost to 8, and then further and further, we'll start to see just lots and lots of red start forming up over here on the victim side of things.
Yeah, it got very killy. And speaking of kills, there's really not a whole lot to write home about. McCormick, the cavalry scout, doing decent. That's really it.
Losses at Datar, I think this is the guy in the center who's sitting in defilade in that one... Oh, no, that guy had an M10. Never mind. I'm not sure where this guy was. Maybe he was down south. Um, Fata over here, picking up a few kills. Torrent Alberti doing pretty well for himself as well. This guy was engaging that center-south position for a good chunk of time. And even the 75 mil, taking out a bunch of infantry. The Hungarians didn't all get crazy amounts of kills, but like you said, this was all about trading efficiently, and they did that. So
Yeah.
that's why I gotta love Lovas.
Yeah, and both being like pretty similar, just beefy infantry divisions with a good fire support. Just Lovas kind of really sneaking their way, I think, back into the meta. Because 1v1, even back in release, they are really bloody good. I love the Turan.
Absolutely. But folks, I think that's going to do it for us here today. So until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru, take it easy.